If your beam is a ground plane, don't complain. No excuses on the bowl. Talking about you's on the driver, you's a whiner. No excuses on the bowl. Don't cry about F-signs, just drop them all. No excuses on the bowl. Better call your tech and tell him you got lots of reflect. No excuses, baby. Now let's talk about the side skipper. The reason you Watergate every cotton picker. I'ma explain the duck game and how they maintain the superstar status, but they never had it. First they call their friend in Louisiana, and you got a talk show going in Indiana. Yep. The friend runs the gate from the bayou. He keys down, you never know it, but they dissing you. He talking all bossy with attitude. He got a gate so he can show and prove. But my beam's directional, the mall will let you know if that don't get you, though my box will. Yeah. And now I rolls my beams to Louisiana. They stopped the tape, but that don't matter. I got 60 dBs coming from Oil Can, and I'ma put it where he can get it at 20 grand. Yeah. So the side skipper needs to leave, so I bruised his ego and striped his speedos. Mr. USA, he left a blueprint. We keep the flame alive like this. No excuses on the bowl.
You know that song there might not make sense to a lot of users out there, but it just shows to the extreme that some of us hobbyists will get to. Let me take this thing off that backed up view, but yeah, man, this song's actually who I built these radios for. You know, this is a decked out 447. And this is a decked out Stryker 955 version 1. This stuff is all kind of set to actually go through an interface and into a computer and to be able to process the audio over the air. But this is actually done, the gentleman I was playing his song there, that's Prime Minister. You know, he goes by the Prime Minister in the Northwest. One of the legends out there on Channel 6. The song is called "No Excuses on the Bowl," and the bowl, what he is referring to is Channel 6. You know, Channel 6 is like the superstar CB operators. The biggest stations in the country go to Channel 6 to test and see how bad their station is. It's pretty much all the channel is a real good group of people like family. All competing with one another and drag racing on the CB, basically. So it's a cool thing. But also other people might know him by his other name, Sir Mix-a-Lot. You know, so he's actually a rapper. You know, that and very, very well established and extremely popular. And he actually enjoys and loves the CB just like we do. Anyway, I just wanted to do this video. This is of Mr. Prime Minister's radios, and I kind of tried to do it in a fashion similar to what he's going to take it to, because he will use these CBs or any radio. He's got an Apache and a Non, and he processes his audio. You know, he runs it through like multi-band compression and, you know, multiple different things to really take advantage of really tailor into an awesome, unique sound. Mine is just a very, very simple setup, simple rack, you know, because I do not have even a touch of the experience that this gentleman does with mixing, you know. So I just wanted to put something out there similar to the way he's going to run it, and then kind of do a test the best way I can to give an example. But anyway, these are both decked out. They're both built the same way, and they're built for the same purpose, and that purpose is to externally process, so everything's kind of primed and prepped to do so. The audio chain is still being used. These radios are not direct injected, or we're not fed at the balance modulator. We're not bypassing the audio chain. We're utilizing the audio chain, and it's kind of energy focused and done the way that I like to set them up. The 447 here, it has, well, actually, matter of fact, both radios, they both have our full tune out done to them. They both have upgraded finals done. It has Hifi Transmit, Hifi Receive, so the entire audio chain and receive chain has been opened up for a wide bandwidth to widen out the RX and the TX. They have upgraded echo boards, so the original echo boards are no longer being utilized, and the aftermarket board that I use and modify is what we're using. Beyond that, we also have a lot of extra controls for versatility and extra function. And Prime may not need all these, but he wanted to see what they're all about and, you know, kind of get one tricked out to test out and see what he thought. But this is a variable peak control. All the way to the right is going to be the maximum amount of peak power. All the way to the left would be, of course, the least amount of peak. There's a full average power control as well. So we got full variable bird average, full peak power control, and those are both independent of the carrier, so you can adjust them anywhere you need to. We have an external keyer, which I did have plugged up when I was playing the MP3. Matter of fact, the way we started out was utilizing the MP3 circuit on Prime's radio to play his song that he produced there. The other options he has, this is an external keyer, so he can key this, you know, because whenever you're externally processing, you can't have like a push to talk, because the mic is coming at the input and the output's just a straight wire coming from the interface over to the radio, so there's no keyer in line to be able to TX. So we add a keyer. You can add it here, or you can add it off of that wire, or however, but it's got to make it to the face of the radio to be able to, you know, pin through to ground to TX. So this is an external keyer that is wired down here, and it's just run to a foot pedal, so I can key it with a foot pedal and be able to run through everything that's here. This jack right now, at the moment, I've just got it run over here to my tester, so we can actually give an example of the output and all on the radio. In a second, I'm going to hook up to here, which will run this radio through the processing. So the anyway, we'll get back to that. So we got an external keyer here. We have a headphone jack, which I have unplugged because I don't want to get any feedback whenever I was doing the intro there. The MP3, which is for recording, and then the monitor hookup. So the way this headphone works is, as soon as you plug in a pair of headphones, you hear this receiver, which is the radio that you're operating. This is the keyer radio. You can hear your receiver here. As soon as you key the microphone or key the keyer, this relay built inside this radio swaps from sampling off of your receiver here to hearing your voice off the monitor. So this radio right here on the bottom, which they're both decked out, he can use it, you know, vice versa, however he wants to, but this right here is just a monitor radio. This is only for receiving at the moment and in this video. This is the TX radio. So right here we have our headphones plugged in. We'll listen to our receiver on this radio. We key the mic, the relay inside the radio swaps over to listening to our audio coming out of the monitor radio. Then our MP3 circuit works the same way because it's hooked up off of that relay as well. So we just plug in a one MP3 circuit, we listen to our line level receiver here, and then, sorry, I got a call coming in, and then we key the microphone. As soon as we key the microphone, it swaps over the relay, goes back to the monitor again, then it records our voice here. So you record everybody you're talking to and listening to line level on this 447, then you key the microphone, the relay swaps it over to the monitor, then you're recording your own voice line level, so you can capture both sides line level over the air. Then we have a monitor hookup as well here. The monitor is to tie all this stuff in line. So the monitor, you have a cable plugs into this monitor here, and then that cable goes over to the back external speaker jack of this monitor radio, and you can see the jacks that we've got done for him in the back of this 955 as well. Sorry, it's hard to get all the way down there to show them. All right, so I guess that kind of goes over the options. I've got other videos showing how the monitor works and the MP3 circuit and the headphones and all that stuff, so I won't go too much further with that. Again, to kind of explain a little bit of how this works is we have a microphone. Our input is going from the microphone into the input of this interface that gets over to the computer, and the output of the interface goes in to the radio. So we're processing our audio through the computer here utilizing this interface to combine the two together. And we are utilizing the audio chain. Like I said, it's not direct injected. So I'm on channel 6. I'm just plugged into my deal here. We'll just give a quick example of the output of the radio, and we'll see what we are doing. Forgive me if I get a squeal or something, because I'm not closely monitoring anything at the moment. There we go. We're doing about 132 peak there. So making some great peak numbers. Doing really good. Check out our spectrum analyzer here. Everything looks fantastic on the spectrum analyzer. Check our output on the LP100A. 160 watts or so there. 161, something like that. Check our 100 watt slug. Looking at average output here. We're doing about 60 bird. Not too bad for a small chassis size radio. But anyway, it gives a reference on a couple meters. Now from there, let me go ahead and cut this average all the way down here. I'm going to cut the peak all the way down too. So peak and average all the way down. And this is our stock carrier adjustment on the radio. So let me go ahead and cut it all the way down too. And then we'll see how low this gets. So now we'll modulate. So we can get all the way down to about, I guess about 18 watts peak. All the way down to 18. So that'll dip on, and both radios get all the way down there to about 17, 18 watts with everything all the way down. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this average power all the way back up, peak power all the way back up. And these controllers can work independent of one another too. If you cut the peak down, naturally the average is going to have to drop because it has to stay in relation to the peak. But if you cut the average down by itself, peak is going to pretty much stay still. And you'll be able to individually control your average swing, you know, like on a bird meter. So anyway, average is all the way up, peak is all the way up. Let me go ahead and grab the carrier adjustment, cut it all the way up. Apologize for the shaky camera. I'm just holding the cell phone with my hand, and then swapping hands and whatnot. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and unplug this. I'm going to go back over and plug in my headphones now, and try to move the radio there. All right, so I'm gonna get my headphones plugged in. Let me go and plug in my cable. It's gonna patch in to the computer and all. And we just got the microphone I had closest to what he's gonna be using an Electro Voice RE20 on his station. This is an Electro Voice RE27. It's just the closest studio mic I had to what he's gonna be using. And like I said, this is nothing, you know, exact to what he's using. This just gives an idea of what this thing's kind of prepped for, and let you hear what it sounds like when it's being used. So I'm gonna get my headphone on my ear, and then I'm gonna plug into the dual monitor MP3 circuit, and then we'll kind of see what it sounds like. I've got my cable here laying around somewhere. It's like it's wrapped over here. All right, so I'm gonna plug into my line level, and we'll kind of see what this thing sounds like.
All right, I'm a little bit away from my keyer, so give me just a second to readjust. Now, I just had to get my foot pedal just a little bit closer to me to make it just a little bit more comfortable. Anyway, this is a radio that has been completed for Prime Minister. This is an Electro Voice RE27. I've got it processed through Live Professor, I believe is what I'm on, yeah, Live Professor. And we just got a couple of things in the rack. This one's not even being utilized here. That one's kind of bypassed. That was just an example for an extra effect that can be added in line. But anyway, little pocket-sized radio, little Stryker 447, my monitor radio, his monitor radio. It's a Stryker 955 version 1. It's been widened out as well, and we could reverse these things and they could do the same thing I'm doing right now. Yeah, I got my mic gain at about 3. I could try to bump it up just to listen what it sounds like with it up there even higher. It's still passing it, even kind of cranked up. A reference for my settings here, I have the mix and the input, the output and the mix is all the way up, all the way to the right, and then I have the input all the way to the left. So all the way to the left with the input, all the way to the right with the output. That gives the maximum gain for the processing here, and we got plenty of gain from the radio. We don't need no more input coming from there. I could probably back off that gain just a touch, just a smidge, but anyway, it's a pretty good example of this. I don't have enough hands to really click anything. Darren, go to the CLA. It's going to be that one there, and then slide it over, and then slide it over and kind of kill the effect there. You don't have to change to that. Just kill that one effect. And I'm going to show you, this is just an effect for like echo here. No. Just do the kill on the program. Yeah, right there. All right. Now you can kind of hear it like flatten out without that extra added effect. And that's just one of like 4 pieces that are being utilized right here. So you can we'll keep it off. Actually, now just click and bypass the top EQ. That'll make the majority of the difference. Go ahead and bypass it. Yeah, see now this is the way these studio mics kind of start out as. Real muddy sounding and stuff like that. Go ahead and click that EQ, and we put that double plugger back in line. You could hear a world of change. Now we put this one back in line here, and you get that extra effect, that big. I ran out of key time, hence the reason I got a fan sitting right there, because I don't want to be too rough on it. Right, you can hear a little bit of my plosives when I laugh there, but anyway, so there it is. Electric Voice RE27. I may do another quick test with like one of my modded mics, and we'll see what it sounds like with that. But yeah, anyway, this radio's for Prime Minister. Running through a little bit of processing and seeing what it sounds like right there. Breaker. All right, I still have the added effect in here, so it's a little bit much with this microphone, just a little bit much going on. I didn't really try to critique things, but this is one of my modified microphones here. This is in a static 878 DM, got a heavily modified Stryker 447, and a heavily modified 878 base station microphone, and we're running it through this little simple rack, kind of seeing what it sounds like on this end. But I like my mics for the openness in the sound. It keeps the highs intact, but studio mics, of course, with the Prime skills, he'll be able to do anything he needs to do. But anyway, man, I hope he loves the radio. I hope this has been a little bit of helpful to some of the guys out there to kind of see how serious this stuff can go, because you might take all this stuff and put it in line and throw another 10 or 20 bushels with it and put it all together. But accolades to Prime. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to put this stuff together, and appreciate the business very much, and appreciate anybody watching out there. I hope I didn't miss anything on this video, but I would try a Prime impression, but I'd probably mess it all up. I think everybody's seen that famous video with 4040 and Prime. What does he say? I got this modified C4 plastics explosives running this bipolar 50-volt plug-in into a 3000 into some water cooled. And the Prime Minister got all the way down. I cannot imitate him. But man, I've seen that video 100 times. It probably got 40, 50,000 views. All right, I'm about to run out of my timer again. This echo has got a little bit too much delay. So forgive me for it not sounding perfect, but I just wanted to give an idea how it's going to all sound together. Y'all take care. D-Rel is out.